US next Democratic debate has all been but confirmed to a showdown between Senator Bernie Sanders and former Vice President Joe Biden. The pair make up the final three candidates after Senator Elizabeth Warren dropped out of the race. Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard is still running her campaign but doesn't make debate qualifications after dismal national polling numbers.
The two frontrunners will face off in Phoenix on March 15. The former Vice President is pretty much the comeback kid, isn't he? Joe Biden, many people said that he was dead in the water. That comeback on Super Tuesday, extraordinary. 752 delegates pledged to support him compared with the 573 for Bernie Sanders.
And as the Democratic primary season heats up, the question is being asked, do any of the remaining candidates have a chance against Donald Trump? Australia's leading body language expert, Dr. Louise Mahler, has cast her eye over the field of candidates, and the news is perhaps not good if you want to see the current president out of the White House. Louise joins us now. Welcome to the show, Louise. Let's start with Donald Trump. Talk about the body language that he has. What is your expert opinion?
Donald Trump is the master of body language. He uses every trick in the book to actually get people on board, to engage his audience, to work with people so that they come with him. So he uses his arms out is his major tool. His palms are out. His voice, his strength. You know, I'm not making a comment about his politics, but about his body language. It's cult-like, the way that he encourages people and gets them to go with him.
He's charismatic, isn't he?
He is.
What about Joe Biden? Because I think a lot of people thought that, or many of the experts were saying that he was gone. He's no hope, and he's had an amazing comeback this week.
He has, and I don't understand it. He is the most conservative choice. And if you're thinking about cars, he's like a Volvo. He'll get you there. He just takes his position safe and sure. He doesn't move. He showed a little bit of a run onto stage the other day, but otherwise he doesn't seem to have any movement. He has no gestures. He smiles nicely. He looks at people. He doesn't have any power in his body. His body, you know, when it comes to argument, you know, I really wonder what's going to happen with him against Trump, because he doesn't seem to fire up.
Bernie Sanders, what do you think of him? Perhaps you have a car that you would describe him as well?
I'd describe Bernie Sanders as like an old VW. You know, he rolls over and then rights himself again. And he keeps going vroom, vroom, vroom. So Bernie sits forward. He has his arms out like this. He has a slight speech defect. You know, he's everything unusual that you would expect in a politician. But he keeps going. So his airflow is strong. He keeps fighting, fighting, fighting. And against Trump, I think he would have a really good argument. It would be full on. It would be full on excitement. So you think that he's old, hunched and angry, but actually he has an energy that just keeps going. You know, the car keeps righting itself and driving, driving, driving.
And he's one of these guys, and it comes out with his body language, that he sees himself as one of the people. You know, I am here with you. I'm not some multi-billionaire. I want to be one of the people.
He is, but you know, he breaks all the rules. He points, he thrusts, he gestures. This is very unusual for a politician to be so, you know, unclean and random in what he does. So I think he's doing that slightly, you know, at a conscious level, so that he relates to people and they think, oh, you're like me, Bernie.
When we talk about body language, it's perception over reality, isn't it? I mean, do we look more than we listen as viewers?
Oh, look, you know, it's very much like corporate life. You know, when we start off in business, it doesn't matter if you scratch your hair or pick your nose, it doesn't matter. But once you get to a leadership level and this political level, it is all about the body language. It is all about the vocal psychology. If these people tailor off at the end of their sentence, or give in, or take a deep breath, or their eyes go off, anything like that will be judged very strongly at this level. It's what the whole game is about, and it's what Trump is an expert at.
I remember having it drummed into me as a young guy, you know, fake it till you make it, dress for success. What's a little scintilla advice that you have for someone watching today? Just in the way that they present themselves with body language. I know that the whole don't fold your arms, because you're blocking off a conversation. What are your thoughts this morning?
Well, I'd just like to say there are two sides. One is the perception of others, but the other is getting it right is actually good for you because you can breathe, you can communicate. So there are really two benefits. And, one thing I would say is this is the Bermuda Triangle. Don't go there. Keep your arms off your body. And the amateur practices till they get it right, the professional practices till they can't get it wrong.
Interesting.
And who do you actually think will win the 2020 presidential election?
I think Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And what about it?
And I'm not saying I back his politics, but the man plays dirty. He plays at the bottom level. Did you see him the other day with Buttigieg? He actually went under the podium to show how small he was. I mean, this is politically incorrect. He will go to any level to get the outcome he wants.
What about his handshakes?
And I wouldn't want to be fighting that.
Sorry.
Oh, handshake. Yeah, I've been analysing Trump's handshake for years. Trump does a different handshake for everyone he meets. So when he meets Putin, he comes in equally. You remember his handshake with Macron where they muscled up. Sometimes he puts his hand underneath, as he does for Kim Jong-un, to show. And when he actually met Malcolm Turnbull, he didn't even look at him. He turned his head away. The man has a message in everything he does with his handshake.
Oh,
everything.
Those handshakes are amazing, aren't they? We saw one so famously in Australian politics with Mark Latham and John Howard. That was extraordinary.
It was. So I always said that with Mark Latham, it wasn't a handshake, it was a sign of mental state. But what was so interesting about Mark Latham and John Howard's handshake was Mark Latham was very aggressive towards him. But the interesting thing was, what did John Howard do? No one ever talks about that. And what John Howard did was nothing. He did nothing. He stood and held his rest position. And this is a skill that most people don't have. When we're listening, we're often making comment with our face or our body, and we need to learn to hold a listening position that is neutral. The body is upright, the head is loose, the eyes are on, the eyes blink, the breath flows. And this is a rest position that most of us just don't think about. And, as a consequence, if we ever got to this political level, we'd be in deep trouble. We look at ScoMo at the moment with his under stress, he'll get his smirk. And I mean no disrespect by saying a ScoMo, but he gets that smirk. This doesn't work.
Particularly when Jacinta Ardern was hammering him the other day, that was there, wasn't it, the smirk?
What about, though, just finally, if perhaps someone's leaning forward but they have a sore neck, or if there's a physical ailment there, how do you decipher between what's reality and what's actually just a sore back? Yeah. Well, people don't. I do, other people don't. But every single thing that we do, say, for instance, we lean our head forward or lean forward, this can be for a million reasons. You have a sore neck, you have done it since a childhood when you got positive reinforcement, your parent did it, therefore you've imitated them. There can be a million reasons. However, a head forward will almost always be interpreted as aggression. That's the reality. So you're always weighing up, what do I want to do, how will it be perceived, and which choice am I going to make for which behaviour? We had Julia Gillard who threw her head. That's called the chook, throwing your head. That's not power, and that's what Bernie Sanders does so well, is uses his whole body for power. Anyone who plays the piano knows that you use your whole body for power, not just your head. So we have reasons we do things, but we have to think, what is the perception, and do I choose to do what I'm doing now or make another decision?
Look, it's been fascinating to have a chat with you this morning. I could keep talking about this, but a little tip for me, how can I tell when Janie's not happy? Or, I need
well, this is not great just with my
shut up quickly.
With my back facing you, it's not really good posture and good body language, is it?
No, I think she leans backwards. I think you'd have to analyse her, but I think when she's not happy, she leans backwards, she moves away.
Oh.
Oh, OK, I'll look after
Just
that.
giving you space to be on camera.
Yes. Look, we're all sitting up, we're keeping our hands away. Have a lovely weekend, and thanks for all of that. It was brilliant.
Thank you.